Good morning. Okay. I like that new thumbnail. Good morning, Jody. I like that new thumbnail. Nimro, did it work? All right. Hey, I didn't realize, I forgot you were in Bethlehem. I told you my kids went to school there. My daughter did a couple of semesters in Muhlenberg, and my son actually graduated from Moravian. All right, let's get started, folks. I want to welcome everybody to the WASDE Report 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director. Blessing, there's only one room. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director. Please remember that all the trades are for educational purposes. When you say it put you in the wrong room, there's only one room, and we have two different passwords for the same room. We only have one room, so I don't know where it put you. We have two passwords because we have some people that are invited and some people that are regular members. But no matter, you're here. You're in the right place now. That's all that matters, right? That's the key. To be in the right place now. All right. So, just for informational purposes, I'd been having trade rooms for the JOLTS report. It's just been such a lousy report that this morning I decided not to have a trade room for it. It was one of those trades I just didn't want to waste people's time. And it was not a good result from the report, so it wouldn't have worked for us. So it actually worked out. I think I'm going to give up on the JOLTS for a while. I've tried for years to find a setup for that report. I can't find a setup that works. I just can't find one. Cannot find a setup that works. All right, so WASDE, we're looking at a family money trade. So something strange just happened. It blew me out of the room. So sit tight for a second. If I get blown out of the room, I'll be right back. No, okay. All I was doing was looking at who was here, and it threw me out of the room. Very, very strange. Very strange. Maybe it was me. I probably hit something close to what I was trying to click on. That happens. So WASDE, I'm trading corn. I usually set up a emergency soybean trade every now and on one rare occasion. One time there was a indication that corn was too risky to trade, so I changed over to soybeans, and it actually worked out. I think it was April. Yeah, it was. So I can tell it was April because I made a profit of a couple of $100, $200 on soybeans. So if I show you the April trade, what's going to happen is I was set up to trade corn, and this is actually a good trade to look at and learn about possible extra risk before the report that the market sometimes gives us a warning of. Okay, so let me show you what happened in April. I was planning on trading corn. And corn had a very large move. It looked like the news was released well before the news was scheduled to come out. Right here. So about a minute, it was less than a minute though. But I had a backup soybean trade set up. And then you could see it's a minute before corn. A minute before corn is getting ready to trade. And watch, it's starting to get very volatile. Now, that would not bother me so much, what it's doing right now. That's normal. But watch this. It's going to explode to the upside as if the news right there looks like the news came out early, way early. So I changed corn to soybeans by just changing my check mark in the Ninja control panel. And the irony of ironies is that soybeans made me money, corn still would have been safe. But that's a warning. When an index makes a move like that, you should be able to recognize that as a reason that maybe you don't want to take that trade that day. That's not a normal move before a report. It's just not normal. That's not the way the indexes normally behave before a report. And if it does behave that way, you might want to take a break from that trade. It might have too much risk. In the case of WASDE, we have two setups. Now, I'm not crazy about the way soybeans have been trading lately. They have not been trading well. So, but I set up an extra soybean trade because if corn does that, I still want to take a WASDE trade. But if there's a move that's too risky in a current report, then if I can have a backup, then I will have a backup. I'm very glad that I had a backup that month. It allowed me to make money. So here's the DMM, the daily market mover, And on soy burgers, and I like soy burgers, in all honesty. I don't eat meat. I don't eat a lot of meat. I don't eat meat. I don't eat fish. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat milk. I don't eat oil. Basically, I eat pretty much just like the dirt from the garden, because that's all I'm allowed to eat. No, I used to be on a diet that crazy. No meat, no oil. No oil was the key. No olive oil, no any oil. No fructose, high fructose corn syrup. No dairy, no meat, no fish, no nothing. Vegetables. That's it. Vegetables and potatoes. I drink a lot of alcohol. Unbelievable amount of alcohol. AJ, you don't have to change the session plate to 24/7. It's old data. Folks, you do not have to do what this says. Just leave your charts the way they are. Just trade with your charts normally. That's a Ninja 7 note. And I got to get that taken off the DMM. Okay? It's got to be taken off the DMM. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. It's actually, Jody, look up the McDougall diet. There's nothing worse than oil, and olive oil is not a good oil. It's fake information. I know they say it's part of the Mediterranean diet, but olive oil will kill you. Now, every Italian person from Italy wants to murder me, and my daughter is married to someone from Italy. She always wants to murder me because I don't eat olive oil. Anyway, we'll talk diet later. Oh, Jody, okay, so you know that diet. That diet is brutal, brutal. So the setup for soybeans, that 48 blessing just means how much that particular report moved, not counting the bracket, not counting slippage either. That was just the size of the move, okay? No bracket included, no slippage. Soybeans have a bracket of 8. They have a bracket of 8, and their targets are 7 and 17. I would do something like I would do targets of 6 on my first, 12 on my second, and 20 on my third. And remember, targets are personal. You can do anything you want on targets. Use our targets as a range. 5 to 8 on the first, 14 to 20 if you're just going to trade 2. The stop is 12. Okay, the stop is 12. And I don't anticipate that I'll be trading. Hold on one second, Jody. I don't anticipate that I'll be trading the soybean trade. This is a backup trade. I'm not going to enable it, but it's going to be available for me if for some reason my corn trade doesn't seem, has too much risk to trade. And that did happen in April, where I switched to soybeans. So it could happen. I would rather not trade soybeans because they are whippier and they are harder to trade. But they have a bracket of 8. They activate. This is a 12 o'clock trade, 11:59, and I personally activate this trade at 59. 11:59:59. That's my backup soybean trade. That's my backup soybean trade. And it's like I said, it's a backup trade. It's a backup trade. I'm not anticipating that I'll be trading it because I'm planning on trading corn. Jody, if time.is, you just go to the website. Jody, you just go to the website. If you can't get in sync by going to the website, then I use Dimension 4. It's a separate program that you need to install. And because sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes time.is doesn't put people's computers in sync. If you don't have time to install Dimension 4, you just, it's too much to do right now. You could do the Windows sync, right-click your taskbar, adjust the date and time, and try sync now and see if Windows will sync your clock. Sometimes it'll give you an error, but it still might sync. That's my problem with Windows. The Windows sync doesn't really work reliably. Windows is separate than time.is. Time.is is its own animal. In other words, all you do is go to the website time.is. And see, my computer puts in sync. Now, Dimension 4, the program, is in the file folder in the trade room. In the trade room, dimension 4 is in this file folder. D4 time, it's called. You can download it and install it. You know, I personally, I don't like rushing things at the last second, Jody. You know how I am. I'm very fastidious and careful. But for what it's worth, I'm always checking everything well before I'm ready to trade. An hour before, I'm looking at the DMM again. I looked at it yesterday. I'm testing my time sync. I don't recommend ever waiting till you come into the room to check everything because you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. I like to do everything hours in advance so there's no surprises. So I'm going to set up my corn trade. WASDE says bracket of 5 or 6 is perfectly okay. And then positions, I'm going to do 2, 3, 2, and 2. I'm going to do 6 on my first target. 6, 12, and 21 is what I'm doing. The moves have been big. There's going to be slippage. We don't know how it's going to move today. We've had a million trades in a row that have worked beautifully. It's a breakout trade. The entry time is 11:59:59, and usually WASDE is not early. It's usually not early. A couple of weeks ago, the quarterly grain report it made us nervous because it didn't trigger immediately. It was only about 10 seconds, but it still makes you nervous if it doesn't trigger right away. WASDE has a history. WASDE has a history of not trading right away. It usually takes a few seconds, but it usually fills. And remember, it's a blind trade. We don't have news from WASDE. We don't get the news, okay? There really is not a WASDE news report. There's a news report that shows up on their website, the USDA. There is a report. It's just that it doesn't show up on the websites that we use. And in fact, Financial Juice doesn't cover the WASDE. It's the one report they don't cover. Not sure why. Maybe they can't get the data. Let's look at last month's WASDE. September's WASDE. I like when I leave in the recording what my setup was. I do like to see that. So this was a pretty normal behaving WASDE report. Soybeans were volatile before the trade. Soybeans looked like a good trade last month also. Looked like a nice solid trade. Soybeans have had a couple of months where they were trickier. They were trickier. Like 2 months ago, I think soybeans were more difficult in, oh, you know what? Where's my August? This is July. Soybeans had a very big move early. They had a big move early. Soybeans looked a little bit tough in July. So there was an early move in soybeans that might have made me not want to trade them. It was a pretty large move. Now my charts were spread apart pretty large also. So stop is 10, entry time 11:59:59. Yeah, generally I don't like soybeans, Jody. I just find that they're whippier than corn. They're whippier than corn. I mean, they are whippier than corn. It's not, it's a fact. They can definitely be whippier. I prefer corn. It doesn't mean corn can't whip around and be crazy. It can. But overall, over the time of history, um, you can get a little bit more calm results with corn. Soybeans are a little bit more volatile today, also, in the sense that they have had more of a move during the day. I just want to look at something. You know what? Yeah, I got time. We got time. I just want to look at my bracket. That's all I'm doing. I'm just checking my bracket. I don't want too big a bracket. All right, so all I did was if you want to check your bracket size, so everything is perfect, you can set your time to 0 and then go back and set it back and put your trade on sim, okay? In other words, I wanted to test how things are going to look when it fires off. That's all I was doing. Nothing fancy. Now, I don't need my soybean trade on, okay? I'm not enabling it because I don't trade both instruments. Now, some people, they do. On this trade, I don't trade both instruments. But remember, if you're trading soybeans, it is a larger bracket. It's a bracket of 8. And that's because of the issue that soybeans are with you. Okay? Blessing, that question unfortunately does not make sense. What do you mean? Strategy enable window. Do you mean this window up here? If you're asking me how to get the Ninja control panel, please do not be trading live today under any circumstances. It's part of Ninja. I mean, when you boot up your Ninja, the control panel should have appeared the first time you booted up Ninja. And the control panel is a part of the platform. In fact, it's the only part of the platform that boots up the first time you boot up your Ninja. So in other words, you don't have to do anything. Right, but as Mark is saying, make sure your tab is on strategies. That goes for everybody. Make sure your tab's on strategies. Which report did we recently make $2,000? AJ, quarterly grains. Quarterly grains. Blessing, right. Make sure you're on strategies. Now, the other thing, everybody new, make sure you go to new. Ninja script output. It'll be empty. Minimize it. New. Ninja script output. Minimize it. And save your workspace with the Ninja script output. With the Ninja script output being a part of your workspace. Blessing, just click on the strategy tab. You don't have to do anything special. Just click on it. When you click on it, you'll be back to, you'll be able to see the control panel. All right, so thanks everybody for watching on YouTube. If you want to come into the room, we're inviting everybody into the room, www.familymoneytrades.com. And you can come into the trade room this week, www.familymoneytrades.com. So if you want, I don't know if you can post that, Chantal. If you can post that. www.familymoneytrades.com. Kershid, you could come into the trade room this week. www.familymoneytrades.com. That's everybody on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube. You can't trade, Chantal. You're working. You're working. I'm trading too, but I don't have, I'm not on YouTube. I'm just watching it. I don't think, I don't know. Yeah, I can't post it either. I can't post it. Okay, I posted it. Mark, Blessing should not be trading real. Today's his first day. Blessing, you should not be trading real under any circumstances. Nobody who's trading, yes. Anybody who just joined like a couple of days ago, don't trade live. Learn the system. Learn the system, right? That's the whole idea. That's why we almost always include trade room in a sale, right? That's why we always include trade room on a sale. So we got 1 minute. 1 minute to go. Soybeans are showing their early pre-trade volatility. It's just something they seem to be doing as of late in particular. All right, got about 5 seconds to go. Now, I hope my brackets are properly sized. That's a good size. Soybeans moved really fast. So got caught in a whipsaw that really hurt. That really hurt. So it filled long early and whipped me to the downside. Filled long early and whipped me to the downside. That's the first time in, I don't know how long it's been, that we've had a WASDE trade that didn't work. Now, soybeans, I have to watch the video. They may have done the exact same thing. They may have done the exact same thing. Well, it does mean the next WASDE will be great. It's very, very, very rare for that to happen. Very rare. And it happened so fast. Happened so fast. No, it wasn't filled early. It wasn't filled early. It just whipped. It just whipped. Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Hey, Leah, Eric here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so definitely a disaster. And listen, this is part of the transparency here. So there's no avoiding what just happened. Was absolutely disgusting. But for the what is Ellis, and others right now, I know this is one where you have to go to the economic news, meaning it's not so transparent. Any opportunities here, Lee? Maybe do we want to maybe go on Sim? What's your gut to just do you see another opportunity now that it whipped? Do we see that it's
to me it's too late already? The whip was the opportunity to take the other side. Now it looks to me like the news is negative. It's gonna push down.
Yeah. So I lost, guys. Total transparency. Eric Roth here. Listen, no joking around. When it comes to losing money, that stinks. So I see some of the comments here, and that's why I love, Lee, what you do in protecting folks. This is we've made a lot of money. So even though you lost, what is that, 1425?
Yep.
We're still really up in our account. It's important that you see that this is actually one of the worst scenarios that can happen. So in my case, I lost $600. I see Albert and others lost too. I lost $600. I was trading 3 contracts. So bring up the DMM, Lee, will you? What was our stop for this one? 10 ticks?
10 ticks, yep, on coin.
Okay, so this is one of the things that happens. It happens rarely. Where basically not only we got whipped, so even though in my case, right? Thanks, Lee. So I had 3 contracts, right? And for members, this, but it's important that people understand what happened here. So why did I lose $300, and why did Lee lose $1,400? Let's start off with you, Lee. You how many contracts were you trading? 5?
7. Maybe 8. I think. Let me look. I might have traded 8.
Yeah, just be careful. Make sure you're not enabled.
Yeah, I think 7.
A 3, 2, 2.
Yep.
5, 7. Yeah, that makes sense. So this is actually not even the worst case scenario, but basically it hurts. Basically got double the stop, right? So really, if you think about it, Lee was trading 7 contracts with a stop of $10, right? And that means that theoretically, we were taking this trade with the risk of losing $700. Would you be in agreement, Lee?
Yeah, a little more, probably closer to 8.
Yeah, exactly. But it almost doubled that. And the reason why, Lee, is why? Why did that happen? Why did we
Well, are
explain
you
the
asking
whipsaw?
me? No, what
Yeah,
happens is it zipped up, filled really fast on the upside, but then what happens is you have negative slippage on the downside. It moves so
yeah,
fast to the downside that by the time it gets out of the market, it's more than your stop. It knows what the software knows what the stop is, but sometimes the market moves so fast, by the time it executes, it's past the stop, and that's what happens. That's why it
yeah.
happens.
All right. Well, Lee, I'm just coming in. You guys know it's Lee here. He's running the show. So, did anybody trade ZS? Just maybe there's some positivity there. Do we want to look at that,
Probably
Lee?
not live. I don't see anybody that traded it live. I
Yeah.
want to look at the video because that should give us a good idea.
Yeah. And I actually have a video too, Lee, which
Yeah.
I actually could get it to you very shortly, actually.
So here's, if you look on the right side, soybeans were pretty volatile before the trade. Just watching now. One more minute. Let me speed it up.
Yeah, and Lee, I just emailed you my recording too, if you in case you would like to pull it up afterwards.
Okay.
So, Michael or Michal,
Soybeans might have filled some targets on the upside. Maybe. Maybe.
can you bring that back up again? Can you actually rewind the video a little bit? What I noticed was that it was a little slow on the way down to hit our first. Right there, pause it. So let's look at the time. Right, so 11:59:58. Okay, and just keep pressing play and like pause again in a second here. So okay,
soybeans.
didn't break out yet, and then look what happened here. So you get filled on your first target, I believe, right? Or excuse me, all you got filled, right? All 7 of your contracts have filled right there.
Yeah, but hang on, wait. I thought. Yeah, it filled short and then just did a whipsaw to the upside.
Yeah.
Who knows why? Who knows why? That's what killed the trade.
Yeah. So this is the scenario that's kind of a nightmare scenario, especially Lee traded 7 contracts. It hurts because we actually, if you guys been noticing, been very, and Lee, I think this is the real message for today. It's one that I always have to repeat is risk management. Lee has earned the right. Right, we didn't just dump the account. We started with $15,000. Lee has earned the right. He's built the account up nice and slowly, and got to this point where he's able to take that risk in trading 7 contracts. Right, and it's unfortunate that, of course, today this is probably what the biggest lot size you've traded in a while, Lee. 7 contracts on the WASDE, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, I added a couple. I've been trading 5 on it pretty regularly.
Okay, but it is what it is. I mean, there's no, but what's important to understand is why it happened. So this one's a little bit more difficult. That's why my point before, where usually we pull up Forex Factory. For the news events that we trade, it's very clear, or there's usually a rationale as to why we had a whipsaw. In most cases, it's because there's either matching news or there's indecisive, there's positive, negative news. But for this one, what do we usually do afterwards? Do you even go to the WASDE or government website to look at it? What do you traditionally do, Lee?
I don't bother usually. It's such a long, convoluted report that it's too complicated to even know what it means. To be honest,
I understand. But for our regulars, if anyone wants to do a quick Google search, see what you find on the breaking news on the WASDE.
If they want to know where to go, what you do is just Google the WASDE report, and it's at the USDA.gov is where you're looking. It's the first one that comes up.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
There should be somewhere on this page, there will be the report itself. Here's October. Here's the report.
I'll be right back, Lee, okay?
Yeah. So it's a 40-page report, October 12th. So the whipsaw, it happens maybe once every 10 to 12 trades on a WASDE. I've seen it once every 10 to 12 times.
Lee, can I just say something real quick before I leave?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, listen, I just want the most important things to understand what happened, and I think, Lee, if you go over some of the bankroll management, etc., we do have another trade coming up, and I see we do have several people here who took advantage of the trial. And of course, listen, I just want to say this. Of course, I would have loved, and of course, Lee would have loved, and of course, forget about all the optics here. This sucks. This sucks, right? It sucks. It sucks. I hate when I see members losing money in the trades, but this is part of the game. And it's part of our long-term game where we're not gonna. This is not gonna stop us from achieving our goals, you know. And it's a definitely sour moment today. So I'm really. My recap for today is I'm glad that you protected our new members and of course people on the trial to just kind of stay, you know, be on the safe side. And for the folks, I just want to say this, like right now, who lost money, and I'm in the same boat. I lost today was terrible. We lost 2,000 all in on my account and Lee's account, but just understanding that this does happen every once rarely. And the way to protect yourself is good bankroll management, right? Lee and myself, we didn't lose 25% of our account today. In fact, if you want to go over and show them kind of like what percent of your account you lost and kind of talk about that with others. And I just want to say it's Eric Roth here. It's been a pleasure. And I'll be back. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it for our bonds one. Are you keeping the room open until 1?
I probably will. I'll probably go heat my coffee and put a note up, but yeah, I'll probably just keep it open.
Guys, I gotta go. You're in good hands with Lee. I just want to let you know very sincerely that for all the members who lost money today, don't beat yourself up. We have 7 family money trades. We have opportunities to recover, but we have to be smart about it. And Lee, I'm gonna give you back the room. And guys, listen, I just want to say I really enjoy being here with you, and it's great. What a great turnout we had today, and stay in because we have another trade coming up soon. All right, Liam, the floor is yours.
All right, see you later. So yeah, AJ, it's a 40-page report. Why does the market react so quickly? I can't really answer that question, AJ. It just is what it is. The market has a history of reacting quickly to WASDE. Maybe that report, you know, that report is obviously a 40-page report, isn't being released at the moment the news is being released. You know what I mean? So there could be people that are privy to that report, and for whatever reason, maybe they're not allowed to trade until the report is officially released. So, I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities that exist as to why something would happen the way that it happens. But historically, and the reason we trade the WASDE report is because it responds quickly. And often, you know, this is the first WASDE report anyone can even remember that didn't make money. So, I mean, I can't even remember the last report that didn't make money. That's how long it's been making money. So it's lousy. I mean, nothing I hate more than losing money. And, you know, especially when I decided to trade it heavier, and especially if I used a 10-tick bracket, maybe we could have avoided the bad trade. Look at the video. And maybe with the size of the moves that we're seeing in WASDE, you know, you could safely increase the bracket possibly if you wanted to be really proactively trying to be ultra safe. Let's look at the way the trade moved. But I used a bracket of 6. And I'm not sure it would have mattered. So it filled, see, I don't think it would have mattered in this particular trade, because the problem, Chantal, what do you think? Maybe what might have happened with a bigger bracket, right? Maybe you wouldn't have gotten filled, but see, you would have gotten filled long anyway, and it would have been most probably a very bad slippage fill with a wick that just shoots up. I don't think there was any saving this trade, in all honesty. I don't think you could have saved this trade. Mia, if I'm pronouncing your name right, no, I don't believe there's any validity whatsoever to what you're saying. Has no meaning whatsoever. None. It's not even related to it happening. One person entering a stop is not changing this trade the way you saw it trade. It's just not what happened. Anyway, sometimes you get a move like this. Sometimes you get a move like this that's called a whipsaw, folks. That's called a whipsaw, and it's the greatest enemy to the way that we trade. And I mean, when there's a whipsaw, there's going to be a possibility of losing money. It is what it is. There's no way you can protect against it. There's no way you can protect against it, because even a huge bracket would not have allowed us to avoid that trade, because it filled short, which was the right direction, but it whipsawed long, and it was a very big whipsaw long. So a bracket, it moved way more than 10 ticks. So the bracket idea was not valid. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. It's pretty frustrating. Nothing I hate more than a trade that doesn't work. But, you know, just talking about size of account, you know, if you have a $5,000 account, you should only be trading one contract. If, you know, they'll allow you to trade two, but the margin could be $2,000 on corn or soybeans. So you don't want to trade, you don't want to put so much of your account on risk if there's a possibility of losing so much, right? So for us, I mean, I can afford, my account can take that hit. Now, I don't want to take that hit on every trade, obviously, but that's the first really big loss we've had in a very long time also. Blessing, I don't trade microcorn. I don't look at microcorn. I don't think they're very popular. I think that the slippage with microcorn would be tremendous, because I don't know anybody that trades them. It's not a real micro, like the new micro MNQ or the MES. They're older micros that have been around for a very long time, and they haven't been very popular. You can always try them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I don't have experience trading them, but I don't think they have very much liquidity, because it's the new micros that they're introducing that are getting a lot of the liquidity. You know, like the new micro crude oil, MCL, is getting liquidity. The MES, the MNQ is getting liquidity. So there's certainly the larger, the newer micros that are getting a lot of interest by traders. Yeah, MCL is very tradable, very tradable. So listen, folks, I'm going to set my chart up for the next trade. Make sure that your trade is removed and disabled. Okay? I'm putting ZN on one of my charts. And very honestly, the bond trade is not a big monster trade. Chantal. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody on YouTube. We were here to stream. The WASDE trade. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you. We'll be streaming tomorrow. And also, You can come into the trade room this week, www.familymoneytrades.com. Okay? That will give you an opportunity to come into our trade room to watch what we do.